What's going on, guys? So, recap from the Ozarks tournament we had this weekend. It was the NYFA tournament for youth in high school. So I'm gonna talk about what baits we used, what we fished, and what colors, and just how it went. So practice day, we started off in this big cove that I found the day before. Thought it looked pretty good. I started throwing a green pumpkin candy wacky rig right here. This is all throwing. Caught one in between some docks, like right off the rip. It wasn't keeper though, it was like a 13-14 inch one. And then my friend was throwing around a red square bill. Don't have one here, but he was throwing that around, and he lost one at the boat right there. But it was practice day, so it didn't really matter too much. Might have been a keeper, we're not too sure. And then no luck after that in that whole cove, so we went and made like a 20-minute run to some really muddy water, and I started throwing around double Colorado blade spinnerbait. The grub is on the back of it. Had no luck with it though, so I decided to switch to a white and chartreuse jackhammer chatterbait with a Zaco trailer on it, on the back of it right here. So I was using, and it paid off. The key with that and the red square bills, my throwers run, catching a lot of fish in this too, was like the main part, the little pockets had all the fish in them. And if it had brush, you just threw this in like right in front of it, 1, 2, you'd probably get bit into reels. Like, it was crazy how fast these fish were biting it. But caught lots of fish on this, and not just that, like you can find bigger pockets and coves and everything and throw it on the bank, and just it caught a lot of fish. Not too many keepers though, so I wasn't really feeling too confident going back to this tomorrow. But that's really how it went, just throwing the same baits for the whole day, and just had a lot of luck, but no keepers really. So, and then I started talking to a lot of people, and they were talking about how they were using wacky rigs and all that, which I've fished in it earlier, and I was like, man, I think we could. So I was like, I think we go make a 20-minute run up, like right by the dam, not right by the dam, pretty far away from it though, to the really clear water, and clearer water, we'll just say that. And I was fishing a pink wacky worm Bojangle baits right here. They're 5-inch Cinco on a 1/0 EWG hook. This is all I had left. I ran out of all my wacky hooks, so got restock on those, but I had to start using this. And the key to this bait was docks. You had to get up in there, might hit your boat on the docks, but if you had someone pushing you off, you'd be fine. But if you could get this thing skipping under the catwalks, under the cables, getting the hardest to reach stuff, you better know how to skip, because that's how you have to do it, is to get this thing all the way up in there. And if you could get this thing like all the way up to the back, like where the bank is, I had one come all the way up, like almost out of the water trying to eat it. Like, that's how close up he was. But if you want it to sink a little faster, I was sticking a little nail weight in it, like a tiny little one. It sank a lot faster than without one. So, but you could fish it a lot of ways. You could fish it slow, and then you could get a lot like kind of like a jerk bait. But yeah, so that's what was working behind the docks. And my friend caught one on a chatterbait as well behind a dock at 213 on a chatterbait. So that was a nice fish to have to the bag. But that was the main thing we threw all day long, was a Cinco. He was throwing a green pumpkin, and I was throwing a pink one the whole day. Probably went through like 10 to 15 of these things. I just couldn't keep the fish off of it really. But again, you just have to get this behind the docks and under the catwalks. Just flip it everywhere. The corner of the docks. Caught some doing that on the corners, and they're everywhere. Like, those are just full of fish. You can catch them about any other way you want. I know a lot of people were fishing, I don't have one here, but a lot of people were fishing creature baits, like a brush hog, a crawl bait, like big bass. Someone caught on like a crawl bait behind the dock. So there's multiple ways to catch them, but if you like to catch lots of fish and catch a good amount of keepers, I would be throwing like a pink wacky rig or a green pumpkin one. You can catch so many fish like that, lots of species. You can catch some green sunfish on this thing somehow. But we had 5 fish at the end. Got 15th out of 122 boats, so it wasn't too bad. And also I was throwing the wacky rig on a 7-foot medium TFO professional walleye. Okay. Throwing on 10-pound Suffix braid. This is a Jordan Lee spinning reel I got on it. This rod's super good for the price. I'm a big cork handle person, so it fits me pretty well. It was great for skipping. Throwing 16-pound leader. I know you're probably thinking that was pretty hefty, but it was like the Ozarks, and you did not want to lose a fish over a dock or under a cable or anything. I actually had a boat flip a keeper over a cable to get in the boat too, and it stayed strong, didn't break. And then with my chatterbait, I was throwing a medium heavy with 16-pound fluoro with a 6.4 to 1 reel ratio. I'd probably use like a 7 or 8, but that's what I was using, and it worked. And also, the companies I was using the whole weekend were Bojangles Baits for the wacky rigs, Jackhammer chatterbait, and I was obviously using, like I said, the Zako trailer. Where'd it go? Here it is. The Zako trailer, Yamamoto. Lots of colors in these, match the hatch. That's what I was using. That chartreuse white paired up really good with it. So I hope this helps you guys, and I hope you go rip lips. Have a good one.